Good morning, everybody. Man, kind of look out below here a little bit on the 5-minute chart. What was that initial reaction to all of those numbers? Jobless claims, GDP. GDP is going up. America's making money. I wonder whose pocket it's going into. Anyway, so initially during the week, the idea was for prices to come down here to make the turn. Buyers didn't wait. And we got this reversal. Went nowhere yesterday. There was some buying into the close a little bit and wiggled around yesterday. Um, you know, yesterday morning, it was like the idea was we're going to get some choppy price action. That's exactly what happened. And I said for the first half hour or so, prices rallied. I don't know if there was news at the time. I didn't check, but collapsed back down to the low today, come back up, and then that buying into the close there. And we'll see what the semiconductors do today. Right? MU reported earnings after the close yesterday. We'll see if that was up a little bit. We'll see if they hold on to the gain and the others. There were a lot of 1, 2, 3 type of continuation patterns on the semis. And we'll see if they can hold up or whether financials can do something. So the idea here is with this kind of a pattern, uptrend, pullback minus support, turn, decent sized wide range bar, consolidation, even though it's down here and it's still at the top of yesterday's range, it needs to continue up. Now, with that being said, remember that when you have a run up like this, and we talked about the weekly chart having the wide range bar and the wide range bar here on the daily, we wanted a deeper pullback so that there would be a larger run toward the high potentially, and maybe a new high. When they're so close like this, you're close to the resistance, the buy setups, they can work. No doubt they can work in a very bullish market, but there's also, because prices are so close, potential for an M top. We'll see. Yesterday things held up, and I thought maybe we'd get a 180 reversal. And when we look at the futures, more of a bull sandwich. That didn't happen. So, like I said, in today's theme, markets need to keep moving up, or they stall here, which you can see very clearly on the hourly chart, those pivots there, or we're going to get a red bar and it's going to come down, and I'm not so sure it'll stop here, because coming down, right from the high down to the low would have been a no-brainer. But buyers are a little bit more aggressive. All right. What's 100 points on a SPX amongst friends? Well, nothing if it's tradable, right? Part of the there's not so much a problem. It's a problem if it doesn't meet your trading plan, meaning that some of the moves this year, well, part of the erratic moves, which we dealt with for about, 6 weeks or so down here, if you remember, this mess down here. But intraday ranges have gotten bigger. So if you're trading the equity futures, trading a 5-minute, 2-minute chart, some of these bars and bar to bar are pretty darn big. Whereas, a year or so ago, they weren't as big. The patterns were, I don't know whether fluid is the right word, but predictable rather than this erratic price action, which is based on uncertainty. But you just, money management, share sizing, less contracts, because where you would look at your pattern and put a stop, those ranges are bigger. Right? S&Ps, really not much going on here, looking at the daily chart. So, if you're long and your stop is down here, you're sitting through this this, where you're just ignoring it, not even looking at it. But you can see how hard things came down after breaking out. So, news related, but anytime you see a move higher like that with a range expansion and it starts coming back in, traders are going to hit the bid and just wait for it to come down to the next support and see what the reaction is. And so that's what's going on here. SPX, the premiums that were higher before, this was a bit higher, about 10 points higher. Now it's 10 points lower, and it may even be lower than what I now. Let's take a look. Yes. So the upside is kind of like, let's see what Jake put here. There's no, I would have to flip back up to get 44.25, and 20 is now only 55 by 65. So going 15 should be fine. I made a note here. There's 4,400 expiring Friday. Those calls, this 4,400 is going to be a sticking point. So it's a relatively decent size open interest at 4,400 expiring. Now, if this can come back up here, I always, because this doesn't update, I got to see where this is. All right, it's down here. Not that it's going to stay there. So it's pretty much near yesterday's close, give or take. So that is within striking distance if they could regain their footing right on this move down. So if you can see all the pivots here, if it would hover around there for a half hour, it could be an explosive move up there. I don't know if that'll happen, right? But this is going to be probably where things are going to play out into tomorrow. And let's not forget 4th of July next week. So things tend to be, it's not a weekend thing, meaning we're not off on Monday, and then opening Tuesday, but around these holidays, things tend to hold up relatively well or go up. So you're off on Monday, Dan? I'd like to be off on Monday. But anyway, keep in mind that that's likely to be and continue to be a sticking point right there. So, in between there and there is more than likely going to be where things just jiggle around. Right? So expiration, this at this number was where they were both together there. Someone on YouTube says it sounds like I'm fading away. Is my voice fading out, everybody? Sometimes it could be your internet connection, but if everybody, no, in the green room, that's telling me it's okay. On YouTube there, but your internet may be in and out a little bit. Jake's giving me an okay, all good. Okay, all right. So internet connections, sometimes, they get a little unstable. It's a good idea to restart your router every once in a while. All right, futures are flat now. So just before the actually negative, when the number came out, they were up 13 and moved up to a few points and back down again. And you can see they're coming down to this low down here, that pivot on the hourly chart there. So it's messy. It's messy. I think part of the tell today is going to be the semiconductors, since they were looking decent. And, all of these things pulled back. Wide range bar, but this isn't a great representation of that 1, 2, 3, but something like AMAT. Did I type that? I don't know why it's taking so long. Anyway, if you look at AMAT, that's more of a textbook 1, 2, 3. It's whipping around there a bit. There you go. Move up. This doesn't trade that actively. 1, 2, 3, nice little base there. You can see the dots. It doesn't trade that actively. And this thing tends to have a pretty wide spread between the bid and ask. But look how close it is to the pivot there on the weekly time frame. So I'm saying these kind of patterns that, what a questionable market. Remember earlier in the week, I said set alerts under Thursday's low. Most things didn't hit those areas. But whenever you get a wide range bar, range expansion bar, set an alert there. That says a heads up, even if you're not trading it, because it ain't supposed to go down there. All right, let's peek around here. What's going on? VIX is still low. It's not moving. Russell, moving up there a little bit, working on a reversal. We'll see where this is by the end of the day tomorrow. That could be a continuation pattern. If this could retrace up here, what you want to look for. There's one of the comments in MT Live yesterday, or somebody posted there in the MT Live, there was that multiple time frames are so confusing and difficult. Isn't anything that you don't know how to deal with, right? Or you don't have experience with. And after a while, you come with criteria how things are supposed to react. So continuation pattern, right? Bar down, you're getting the turn, the transition from red to green. If this retraces deep up into here, well, you don't really want it to blast up through there. You want it to stall and go sideways up there. Something like this, right? You don't have red to green there, but bottoming tail bars and this sideways congestion at that resistance on the weekly chart. So same thing, just different time frame. Here. Don't look at the mid caps that much, but pull back. It broke that support. It's coming back up. This is what we need to look for going into next week. Do we get continuation patterns? This was bottoming. Big red bar down. So far, it's flipping back up. If it closes strong, and then we can get some sideways price action on the daily, the smaller time frame, that would open up the door to a move up. So, keep that in mind going into next week, to looking for that kind of a pattern. Here's, the bright spot, which typically lags. One of the reasons to think that this market still has legs, that continuation pattern that I just spoke about. So the transports, they're coming up to that major resistance area. So not exactly the same pattern as that continuation, but coming up to resistance. Can it go sideways? Can it, I use the term, talking in the courses, how to interpret this price action, how to, give an explanation to the price bars and what that means as far as supply and demand. So we call it absorbing supply. So what does that mean? That means it's at a resistance area, and rather than falling sharply, it sits there and it goes sideways. Right? Like this came up to resistance and it falls back down to support. Or it can be absorbing the demand down here, or the transfer demand, meaning it chops sideways. This is messy, but you get the idea. Where over here, it can consolidate a bit, some kind of sideways price action there, and then go higher. So I guess this week, just from what I see right now, doesn't seem like things are going to move very much. Interest rates, 13-week is still holding up here. And as long as it holds up here, inches up, right? The Fed's going to raise next month, which will keep pressure on gold. Spoke about that earlier in the week. Our ETF letter is short this. Oil, bounced up off of support, just a mess. Maybe the energy stocks maybe find some legs there. Pretty messy, not really all that compelling. But they're at support. looks maybe a little bit better, but you have to look at the individual stocks because the ETFs are just kind of messy there. Not great, but you get what I mean. Halliburton tends to be a good one if oil's gonna move. Not really all that compelling. Silver's down a bit. And yeah, I mean YM so far holding up. It's the weaker, and a little rejection there, but it's only not even 9:30 yet. Expect more chop as we end this week and go into the holiday, and try not to be the frog in the blender. Pick your spots, and as always, this little negative reaction here on the daily chart, really not a big deal. But if it doesn't bounce, I'm just pointing out YM here because this is what I'm looking at. If it doesn't bounce significantly off of here, go sideways for a half hour, I think that's going to open up the door to, coming back down, at least down into here. So that's something else to, watch for. You get this kind of price action, and then it, after this kind of climactic move, drop. Because when it drops this way, most times it's going to bounce back up because there's buyers down here. If it can't, well, that's weak, right? Really just common sense, but that's what you want to look for. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, we said the same thing yesterday when we started off with a little weakness. Yesterday morning, the first hour was incredibly choppy, but we said, regardless of that, the dailies were fine. And then, things just got ripping and over lunch yesterday. So that closed with a 1, 2, 3. So, everything Greg said, but bullish here as long as we hold here, like you said. All right, what do I have over here? MU is the big leader here in earnings department. We were talking in the green room. This is a big old W bottom. And I love, what's today, Thursday? I love Tuesday's bar. Look, at the bottom of the day, that was a breakdown. And then closed with a range expansion, closed over 1, 2, 3, 4 bars highs. That was a beautiful bar. And then yesterday it gapped down with the NVIDIA news, the government trying to halt shipments of their super chips, and it recovered. So we were talking about buying puts into this as a speculative earnings trade, and it would have paid off. But I'll watch it for a put spread after earnings. JWN, this is a beautiful buy setup we got into on Tuesday. What made it beautiful is, we want a potent turn, and it really didn't have much support over here. But the topping tail, we waited for it to get over the tail. So we sold a third, and now let's go ahead and move stop yesterday's low. And my gold alarm went off. Yeah, we're short that. Looks good. And there's a couple of these 1, 2, 3s. NXPI we mentioned. Let's see, this middle chart is weekly and this one's monthly, upper middle. So I can just quickly see I got multiple time frame alignment on this NXPI. So that looks great. I got an alarm in as a 1, 2, 3. Let me put it on the other computer too. I'll set it 199. Another beautiful 1, 2, 3 is a PPG, and I posted this one. I love this one because Tuesday was just a closing breakout. Now I got my inside day. I got bullish weekly and monthly. That is a beautiful pattern right there. And some people might ask, well, Dan, what about resistance over here? And it's what Greg talked about. All of this is like a wrecking ball. It negated that. So would I prefer it not be there? Sure. But I have little to no concern about it if this trades over these highs. Daily, weekly, monthly look fantastic. PPG. All right, amen. Greg mentioned WBX up here a little bit, but it's a dog. Remember this TBLA that broke out on this day? And I was watching a pullback to the 315 area right there. And it exceeded it. So I kind of took it off my radar. But I still had it as a watch. It's still a watch. Nothing to do right now. But I like the weekly. Look at this little guy, bottoming pattern. Has room to the 200. So that's $1 away. So that's on my radar. Let me put that in a window. POAI. ARC F. I see it gapping up here a little bit, but I absolutely love this monthly inverse head and shoulders. So I'm going to watch this to get our ETF letter in it. It got sloppy here and was lagging some of the other ARC ladies, but I love that monthly. Open here. I wish I saw this yesterday. That would have been a continuation, wide range bar breakout continuation. But too extended. D-Dog, no pattern, but no pattern daily. The weekly is a bull flag. See that? Flagpole, 30-degree retracement consolidation. That's a textbook bull flag. So I'm going to keep it on my list. And, I would definitely do a put spread last week's low, but there's not going to be any juice there. The TTD was a breakout yesterday. Ideally, we get an inside bar, and then we can trade the breakout. SYM buy setup. I might posted a trade. It should bounce. You get steep retracements. You do not expect immediate high, a new high, as a typical buy setup would. But you can get a 1 to 3 day bounce as a swing trader. But number two, the premiums are jacked. So I have that as selling a put spread. Lou's asking about Sophie. I did see that today. I did see it. It's a little sloppy, but it's worth watching. It's up 4 bars. I wouldn't rush into it, but look at the monthly as a breakout and it has room. So yeah, maybe I should watch it with you. So yeah, Jose, Lou, come into our green room and we can watch it together. All right, block we got into in our ETF trader, another beautiful monthly chart there. RKF just mentioned ISRG was a breakout yesterday. Some folks in the green room bought it right into the close here. So it's up a couple bucks for those who did. Yeah, pre-market though. We're not stabilizing very well. Baxter 1, 2, 3. I got an alarm at 45.40. It's because the target looks like it can go to the 200. I like the weekly as a 1, 2, 3, 4. See that on the weekly? Here, 45. 30, I'll set the alarm. And then XPI we talked about, LDOS, a little breakout into the void. HSIC. I like the consolidation here after this 1, 2, 3. Just not sure about the target. And there's a lot of overlapping bars over there. Roku, another buy setup, deep retracement. We have a put spread on this for next week. Looks good. And it could be a directional also. Directional, it's gapping over yesterday's high, so maybe a 30-minute high. All right, this cream bottom right. I'm going to put Roku down here as a directional watch. FL, Foot Locker. These sporting goods stores got beat up. But look at ASO. Same beat up, but you see the difference in the green room. We have what we call an optometrist test, where the doctor says, hey, which looks better, A or B, A or B, A or B. And we do that all the time in the green room. So notice how this sporting good is superior to Foot Locker. See, this one hasn't turned yet. It's superior to Hib. Look, this poor guy, this was its attempt to bounce, and it failed. So do you all see that A/B test that we do? It's really valuable. And in fact, we did an MT live on that exact subject one time. How to compare two related stocks, ETFs, sectors, whatever. Hub, it's fine. It's what we call a minor 1, 2, 3, because Tuesday's bar is really not wide enough for 1, 2, 3. I just think you're on borrowed time on this, Thomas. Look at these 3 MAs. It's a climb on the weekly. That's the only hesitancy. I would just much, much rather trade this. You see the difference? I'm not on borrowed time. This is an igniting 1, 2, 3. Stavros, Disney gapping down. Disney gapping down $88. Yeah, we actually had a beautiful short on this right up here. Right up here, breakout failure. We took this whole decline right here, Stavros. We had a beautiful short. All right, so right now it's gapping this prior high. Prior low. It does look lower, but I just don't know about entering right now. All right, cream, I gave us a put spread. Yeah, I know you're in that one. Very nice. We're in GLD. All right, our ASO put spread gapped up. So it's well, just trade it as I posted it. Lou asking about Raiden. It's a trading range. It's at the bottom of the range, so maybe day trade, Lou, because you got a price void. But it's not a great swing to me. Day trade looks fine because it's a bullish 15-minute chart. I would say you could buy it over this pre-market high over like 1480, because then that would help ensure that the markets are going to hold. Our block up alarm looks great. Bitcoin threat, approaching 31,000. All right, so Q's falling here now. All right, cream block. CHX alarm I had posted yesterday. As an official trade. Oh, I meant to look at Schwab. I saw it gapping up there. I wonder if this is the something day. I've been watching this thing for so long. And I actually stopped watching it. But yeah, let's watch putting Schwab on the watch list. Both for directional and put spread. All right, CH. Look at MU. MU's giving it. Wow, that's that thing was $70 pre-market. So SMHs are doing nothing but down. XHB might set us up 1, 2, 3, 4. There's CHX. We did a half lot of CHX. And then another half. I have them 29.12. And 6. We are very heavily long in our letters, but we've been taking partial profits, trailing stops. They're all fine. See a target. I don't remember that one. Let me look. Q snapping back here. These oil ETFs I posted in Telegram that they're all put spread watches. If somebody wants to look at them for candidates, premium, etc. Oh, wow, TJX has been strong. Wow. Yeah, looks higher. Daily, weekly, monthly. I mean, not a, kind of a continuation looking thing. All right, let's see if ASO. If ASO got filled. We're doing 51.49. Oh, they're spreading. Oh man, they are crazily spready. Crazy spready. Black looks better now. Hey, Alex, what was that show on Netflix? Black was the new orange or something like that. This looks fantastic now, even for a directional. It was a 1, 2, 3 gap reversal, bobbling around for 2 days. Now it's breaking out into the void. We have a put spread. But all right, new up alarm. It's actually ready to cap fill. Here's a better put spread trade actually. But let's move stuff. Yeah, black, orange is a new black. 667. We should have a nice profit right now. Yep, bid only a nickel. Yep, it's 5 cents. Let's go ahead and close it at 5. Take the money. We sold it for 75, so